To celebrate the holidays, we're bringing you 12 days of family history research.
So we're going to take this opportunity to get back to basics of family history research.
And each day we'll bring you a different strategy that will help you find your family. Merry Christmas from Journey Through the Generations. Hey everybody, welcome back to Journey Through the Generations, and today is day 7 of our 12 Days of Family Research series. Welcome back.
Hey guys, today we're going to talk about our F.A.N club, and that is our friends, associates, and neighbors.
And that's the acronym for that.
Yes.
F.A.N,
right?
Yeah,
it was originally thought of by Elizabeth Mills, I think is her name. And the purpose behind it is to be able to break down brick walls in your research that you can't find information like in census records or vital records. So you actually go to the people that knew your family.
You know, sometimes, and I think we talked about it on one of our previous episodes, we talked about talking to friends and neighbors of your family, if they're still alive, to help find out about your family. And so that's what this principle is to talk about that. And oftentimes you're already doing it and don't even know you're participating in that F.A.N principle.
That is exactly right, because I did that and I had no idea until I actually learned about this particular aspect of research. And I was like, oh, I've already been doing that. Yeah,
and I have a perfect example of me using this principle. When I was researching my great-grandfather, I found out that he lived in Conway, Arkansas, and he was a part of the Black community area. And I learned that there was a museum that was built for this area. It was named after a particular street in the community. And so I contacted the lady who is the overseer of that museum, and we met her at the museum. It was back during COVID, I think 2021. And we went and met with her. She told me about the museum. She told me about the doctor and, his family and how everybody just really loved him.
Right.
Because he was the only Black doctor in the area. So he delivered everybody's babies.
Yeah, he did all of the general, anything that was wrong with you, sick-wise.
How all the women loved him because he had an accent.
Exotic.
He was exotic. That's what she said. So yeah, I mean, I used that principle to learn more about him and found out that my grandfather actually taught in Conway for a year or two. He taught science before he moved to Los Angeles and lived there the rest of his life. Yeah. So it's those things that will help you in your research as you're going along.
Right, because you were looking for your grandfather some particular years and we couldn't find out where he was. And then we realized that he moved back to Conway for a few years and then ended up in California.
So your F.A.N club can, consist of, all kinds of things, right? Just family, friends, your neighbors, whoever was in that neighborhood. And I've seen a lot of times, or not seen, but heard from other people telling their stories that, that they found out that their neighbors were actually family.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
in my case.
Because they live so close to each other.
Yeah, in my case, we called a lot of people in our neighborhood aunt and uncle, and I thought for a long time that we were all related, and they were just really close friends of the family, people who went to school with my grandparents, and things like that. So those are the people that you want to find, the people that knew your family for generations.
Yeah, and so when we always talk about, going talking to your oldest living relatives, when you start your research, that's excellent that you do that. You can go another step, and there may be a family or friend in the neighborhood, or you may have to reach out to them. Maybe they moved away or whatever. But
or they might still be next door.
And that's so don't discount that. Just because they're not quote unquote your family, they can absolutely provide good information for you because they probably know it and they know the dirt too.
Yeah, I think of it like this: if you talk to my friends, the people that I went to school with, people I went to college with, my sorority sisters, people like that, you're going to get a different story about my life than you would if you talk to my brother and sister.
True.
Now, my brother and sister know a lot about me and they can tell you stories for sure. But the people who I went to college with and school with knew me during a time where I, didn't live with my brother and sister. And they know stories about me that, my brother and sister may not know or have only heard in passing.
Yeah, and those are the good stories that you need to have to be able to tell, about your family.
Yeah.
And then you find out names, you find out birthdays, you find out
marriages,
all that kind of stuff. And the way I look at it is, yes, that what we're looking for, who we're looking for, is the person, but there's also a story to tell about those people, and the only way you get to learn those is if you talk to the people who may have been there or have heard the stories being passed down from year to year. So.
Right, and those neighbors and friends of your family will also have information like photos, yearbooks, things like that of your family that maybe you've never seen before, because it was part of your grandmother's youth. And you only knew her as Granny. But she had she was a young adult at one time, and she's in a yearbook or newspaper that maybe you didn't even know where to look because you didn't know what she was doing during that time.
Yeah, and this principle is especially important if you are a person who thought that your father may not be your father because you did a DNA test and you found out that that doesn't match, or a mother or a brother or sister, whatever the case may be. The DNA is not does not match with what you have been told or what you have grown up with. And if you talk to other people and you get them to understand what you're trying to do, and they could absolutely help fill in some of those blanks, spill the tea, as the young folks like to say these days, and have receipts and what else do they say? I don't know, but yeah, those people could help, hopefully, fingers crossed, help you find out that information that you're missing.
Right.
It doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes you got people out there that's going to take that secret or that information to the grave, but hopefully you'll be able to share with them what you're trying to do, and they understand it, and they help you find out what you need to find out. So.
Right. And to talk a little bit about the associates part of this, that would be, people that you work with, maybe you were in the military with, you spent time volunteering with, things like that. And that would be, the actual people or the company that they worked for, pension records, things like that.
Yes, for sure. That's important too, because you'll find out a lot of information about that person, their name and where they worked and all that good stuff. So it'll definitely help you find the information that you're looking for. So don't forget about those three things when you're doing your research. Friends, associates, and neighbors. F.A.N.
Yes.
Fan club.
As much as I love going to the library and looking at microfilm and reading books, sometimes the information you need is going to be with an actual person who can tell you a story. Yeah,
for sure. So I think Trisha wrote a blog about the fan club some years back. So I will link to that blog post in the episode notes. And I believe we did a podcast about it as well.
We have.
In the past. And I will leave a link to that podcast episode in the description box as well. All right, guys, we appreciate you for listening, talking about Fan Club. If you haven't listened to today's 1 through 6 yet, I would ask kindly that you go back and listen to days 1 through 6. We have, after today, 5 more episodes as we get to day 12 of our series. We appreciate you guys for listening. All of our social media information and website and all that good stuff is in the description box as well. We will talk to you guys later.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one. Peace.